have said multiple times on this show that they are in serious trouble. But I think that it goes a step further after what went wrong with Trey Hendrickson this morning. And right now, it does not seem like their situation with Shemar Stewart is very salvageable. Let's start with Trey Hendrickson. There was a lot of optimism that Hendrickson would sign and be ready to go today. I was reading on Twitter, a lot of people in the Bengals community on Twitter were tweeting about, talking about like, man, it looks great. The things are sounding like he's ready to go. He's in the building. They're putting out offers to him. And they disrespected this man so bad that he puts on a story in the morning on Instagram that he's driving and heading back to Florida. He's going all the way back to Florida where he's originally from. Part of this stems from the fact that there's two things. It's the fact that he's not getting the fully guaranteed years that he wants on this contract. The top rushers, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Max Crosby, they all got 3 years fully guaranteed. They're offering him 1 at the current moment. Jamar Chase's teammate, 3 years fully guaranteed. T. Higgins got 1 year and then half of the second year fully guaranteed. He's getting the short end of the stick out of all those guys. The other part about this, apparently the main offer, don't know what the current number is right now, but the initial offer months ago was $28 million, which is way below what he's looking for, which he wants to get in that $35.5 million range. To put into comparison, Sean, on who he is on par with, Brian Burns is making 28, Montez Sweat is making 28, Josh Hines-Allen is making 28. Those guys, in the last 2 years, Hendrickson has 35 sacks.
Yeah.
Brian Burns has 16.5. Montez Sweat has 11.5. Josh Hines-Allen has 25.5. The disrespect for this man continues to mount.
It is shocking. You made a grown man, leave cool, comfortable Ohio to drive to Jacksonville late July. Driving to Jacksonville late July with his wife because you couldn't give him a little more guaranteed money after year 1. He made a statement and said, I was happy to meet them and work with them and go low on certain things, but I think that maybe 2 years of guaranteed money for a top edge rusher in the league isn't so unfair. You put him in a car to Jacksonville. Are you kidding? He could just be walking around in Duval, waiting for Jacksonville to pick him up. I'm already down here, pal. Go ahead. Make a splash play. That would get me interested in the Jags. The Bengals are absolutely bungling it top to bottom. And Mike Brown, a way to get in front of the mics and address this. Last time you should be in front of the microphones because you stumbled all over yourself. You looked like a jackass. And you sounded like somebody who would never pay players. You just sounded like somebody that is not inviting for free agents and that cripples a team that is supposed to be on the rise. The Bengals are not a team that we're looking at saying, wow, 4 wins, no reason their stars are leaving and this and that. They're a team that should be competing with the best of the best. And you have people in cars not attending training camp. It is a massive, massive issue.
Which Jerry Seinfeld show is that? You said people in cars.
Oh, yeah. I
It's such a bad joke. It's such a bad joke.
You know what? That was so bonkers off the wall. I'll give it to you. That was...
It's such a dumb joke. Oh, I'm not gonna sit there. By the way, you shit on my joke this morning. You didn't understand the nuance of my Snoopy joke.
I dare you to try to tell me that you were being authentic about the way you presented that.
It was a good joke. All right, sorry, I completely derailed your take. An awful joke.
Get this guy out of Florida. Get him in pads in Cincinnati. Or, if you want to just give him an extra 2 weeks, let him train down there and then make it right in 2 weeks, say that. Say we're desperately working on the situation with Trey and we want to get it addressed. We messed up. Last thing that they haven't said they have not acknowledged one aspect of them being wrong. Cincinnati hasn't. and they're doubling down. Paul Brown is doubling down in front of everybody, saying that these guys don't deserve guaranteed money. It's 2025. We are 14 plus years. It's a little gray area in the early 2000s of when these guaranteed contracts really started taking light. The 2011 CBA was massive for that, to get them to get players more guaranteed money. We're 14 years past, man. If this is a hill you wanted to die on, you should have done it in 2012. We are way too far gone for you to be this uptight about guarantees.
I just don't understand why they're so like undecided on what side they want to stand on. And what I mean by that is they speak out about how committed they are to bringing him back and him being an important part of the team. And you hear all these positive messages. But if you believe that, this deal would have gotten done in the offseason. If you are this far off for what he's asking for, you've had the whole offseason to figure this out. And you shouldn't blame him for not wanting to play on a 1-year, $16 million deal if he steps up and he gets hurt this season after he's put his body on the line the last 2 years and he's done so much for you in terms of production. After all of this, and you've had all these times to communicate, why have you not come to the conclusion, hey, we're not going to get this thing figured out? You should have, and that we stated this last time we talked about it, traded him at the beginning of the offseason, gotten a pick for him, and used those, or probably maybe even multiple picks, use the extra cap space to have a more balanced defense, draft another young guy, and your defense would have been ready to go.
Yeah, get what you need. Get what you need and fill in after. It's so backwards.
It's indecisive to me of not, you need to pick the lane. The lane is either we value the veteran who's been super productive for us, so we're going to pay him at least close to what he's asking for, or because our number and our guaranteed money is so far off, we're going to just move on from him. We'll let some other team, because somebody will be willing to pay him. Unlike you, someone will go send him there, take advantage of somebody else's excitement for him.
Yeah. Or desperation.
Right.
Yeah, play the game. They're not playing the game at all. Cincinnati is just kind of sitting there with their bait half in the water.
Yeah.
Are you trying to catch a fish? Are you trying to keep your bait? What do you want to do here, Bengals? Because you've had all offseason. It's just like, it doesn't feel like procrastination. It feels like the most unprofessional nonsense to not know, or to just hope. It feels like they're hoping, we just hope Trey will see our side. He's not gonna. It's a brutal sport.
He has it the whole time.
Yeah. You're not making any cases that are making it close. We probably would have heard about that so far. I think that he would be comfortable taking a year to get paid. I think there's a lot of things that he would rather do than walk into years of uncertainty with a team that has treated him like that. And now you're going to have to treat him better. I hope he puts his foot down and says, no, that was yesterday's price. Today's price is Florida price. You got to get me out of here. Unreal, the thought process of we're just gonna see what happens. That's what they're doing. They're pissing in the wind. They're pissing in the wind. I'll get more of it on Jerry. I think Jerry is a bigger problem with this, with the gambling of injuries for owners, so they don't have to pay their star players. It's despicable. It's really, really insidious stuff from ownership that just see the numbers. More of a Jerry issue. But Cincinnati is just right now with Hendrickson proving that they had no game plan with him. It was either sign him or what. And now we're in the what stage, and they're letting him do whatever. Last place they thought they were going to be, the first place we all knew they would be when this whole saga started and they didn't want to pay him.
I'm just like randomly thinking in my head of like an example of a guy. I'm not going to sit here and try and do the research while we're doing the show, but I did all this research leading up to the show and also for social clips earlier of like trying to get that context of like, okay, what was offered him and how does he compare to those other guys? But now the other layer of this, where the only defensible angle for the Bengals is that he's 30. So I'm kind of like wondering to myself, what edge rushers and like what examples do we have of guys at the age of 30 to the age of 33. It's going to be a 3-year deal probably. How often do those guys not replicate the success, but at least maintain a degree of success? Like 10 sacks in that range.
Yeah.
I looked up JJ Watt. He's not a good example because at age 29, he had 16 sacks. At age 30, he was banged up, only played 8 games and had 4 sacks. 2020, he had only 5, but he played 16 games. 2021, he had 1 sack because he only played in 7. And then in 2022, he had 12 and a half when he was the age of 33 years old. So, like, he had some success, but he was a lot more inconsistently healthy. Trey Hendrickson has not had the same level of injury issues that JJ Watt did. I'd have to think of.
I mean, DeMarcus Ware had 27 and a half sacks from 30 to 32, and from 33 and 34, he had 11 and a half.
Combined in those 2 years?
Yeah, between those last two.
Okay, so what's inevitable here, year 30, when he's not year 33, when he's 33 years old, he's going to be ass. He's not going to be good. I think Trey understands that. Everybody understands that. He's going to go out there. He's going to be lucky to hit like 8 sacks. But
8 would be good at 33.
What you're paying for, though, is this season when he's 31 and when he's 32. 33, actually, if it's a 3-year deal, never mind. No, yeah, wait, it would be until he's 33. But you're trying to, under this current deal where he's getting $16 million, you want to get him in the building to produce this year, to produce when he's 31, when he's 32, and then when he's 33, he's probably going to just be the veteran leader that's on the roster, or some guy that you cut or trade or send off to go do something else. But yeah, I mean, like if you get that DeMarcus Ware type of production, those are pretty good results. And Ware was obviously a Hall of Famer, so it's like
right,
a little tough.
Yeah, but Hendrickson for the last couple of years has had a pace of a Hall of Famer. Not saying he is,
true.
But he's
what about
pacing
Jared
for
Allen?
It.
Jared Allen played a really long time.
I'm looking at Ryan Kerrigan right now.
Jared Allen's only 43. It's crazy to realize how young some of these guys are. Oh, man, Jared Allen fell off a cliff.
Kerrigan fell off a cliff. 13 sacks.
Kerrigan had his best, or not Kerrigan, Jared Allen had his best year in 2011 at age 29. He had 22 sacks. Age 30, he had 12. Age 31, he had 11 and a half. So this actually is on the trajectory that we're kind of talking about. Age 32 was when he had 5.5, and then that was kind of like when the decline, when he fell off the cliff, and then he retired.
But even with the impending, even with the upcoming decline that we all know,
impending was right.
Oh yeah, there we go. Even with the impending decline that we know is going to happen, are the next 2 years not worth it to you?
Kerrigan's 36.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It should be worth it to you, and if it's not, why are you still waiting right now to see that it's not? I think they're hoping that Trey Hendrickson wakes up out of bed one day, sees his silver hair, and says, wow, I got to I just got to keep playing and keep my name relevant, and I'll take whatever deal anyone's offering me. Sorry, this isn't the year for that. You pull out this move. You pull this out next year. You pull this out in 2 years. You don't pull this out during the peak. And it feels nastier to be doing it during the peak of his career, where he could have 2 more really, really impactful years. But letting him just hang around on this and not know what the future is, and not putting him in a better or worse situation in this purgatory of non-payment, it's a bad place to be, and it's bad operation. And if I was a free agent, I'm not interested in Cincinnati, knowing that I can't roll them over for guaranteed money, which is becoming the standard in the NFL, soon to come even more. I don't want to deal with this ownership being cranky and wish-washy and not knowing what they're doing and not knowing who they have. And they haven't made a deep run in 4 years. So honestly, while we understand all the talent and potential from the team, other guys are looking at it realistically in the game saying, well, they have as good of I have as good a shot with any other team than I do with them right now. If it all comes together, sure, but this isn't a team that we're saying is one piece away. The Bengals still have a tragic defense. They're still looking for luck this year in the season.
I think the better example, by the way, Michael Strahan's a really good example of a guy who he played until he was 36. And 31, he had 22 and a half. At age 30, he had 22 and a half, which was his best season. At age 31, he had 11. 32, he had 18 and a half. So what's kind of like random, if you go through some of these all-time sack getters, it's kind of crazy to realize that age 29, 30 season is actually the peak for a lot of these dudes, which is really freaking nutty. So your best season that you could get out of Trey Hendrickson could come in the next 2 years. The problem is, and I'm sure, which I would frame it as, they're thinking it in the light of he's going to fall off a cliff and we don't know when, so we don't want to guarantee him multiple seasons. But I would frame it as, if you don't lock him up and give him his money now, and he doesn't get the proper amount of time to prepare for the start of the season, you are going to completely lose that window, or he's going to have that window with a completely different team.
You might have struck something here. Cam Jordan, best year ever, age 30, 15 and a half sacks. And then the next couple years, he held on. The next 3 years, he held on good. If Trey Hendrickson did what Cam Jordan did,
that's a good example.
From 30 to 33, we're playing real ball in Cincinnati. 15 and a half sacks, 7.5 at 31, 12.5 at 32, 8.5 and 33. That is well worth that Trey Hendrickson contract. If you get those numbers out of him, well worth it. So well worth it.
The Shemar Stewart stuff, though, when we tie all this together, is just, it is a gross look at how unserious they are about the future and the present of this defense. I was kind of curious, by the way, because Shemar Stewart's been holding out. He hasn't been there. We talked about how there's this maybe possibility that he tries to sue the NCAA and play for Texas A&M this year. He's been working out with the team, per Bud Elliott of CBS Sports. Longest holdout, though, most recently was Joey Bosa, who didn't join the team until August 29th. So what he's doing is really not that egregious. Bosa's holdout, I think, was money related too, which is kind of crazy that he was being as aggressive as he was. Michael Crabtree, before we got the rookie pay scale, he held out until October trying to get more money for his contract. So that's an example of a guy who like really held out a long time. I was very disappointed with the commentary that we got from Duke Tobin and from Mike Brown. I know that they didn't say anything like completely egregious, but I did not feel totally comfortable with the way that they framed these things. This is Duke Tobin. I think Shemar needs to be here. I'm not going to blame Shemar. He is listening to the advice he is paying for. I don't understand or believe or agree with the advice, but I'm not the one paying for it. If I felt we were treating him unfairly as it relates to all of the other draft picks in this year's draft, then maybe it would be a different story. But we are not. I don't really understand where things are. Mike Brown, owner of the team, if we get a player who does something unacceptable, guess what? I don't want to pay him. I really don't. If he's sitting in jail, I don't think I have to pay him. Look, Mike, first of all, to you, your statement's not wrong. But the freaking problem is you are springing it on this one guy. You're forcing him, the first person, the first rookie you have given a first round rookie that you've given a contract to add in this stipulation that we've discussed on the show that everyone's talked about ad nauseum, that he loses his guarantees if he gets arrested. Your logic makes sense, but why is Shemar the one who is the guinea pig for your contract adjustment for what you want to do going forward? You set a precedent.
Yeah.
The precedent's already been set. You can't backtrack on it and screw over some kid who's just trying to play in the league. And Duke, what do you mean I don't really understand where things are there? What do you mean you don't understand? Have you not been paying attention to any of this shit? You've been asleep the whole time? If you don't understand what the problem is, then now it all makes a lot of sense why we haven't made any freaking progress.
Yeah, it's really calamitous because it's your recruiting department. It's your scouting department. If you feel the need to add this language into a guy that you drafted and wanted to be a Bengal, assumedly for life, why would you pick him? Why if we're still using language like this about ifs and possiblies, did you not do enough due diligence in the draft cycle? Are you that behind with analytics? Or do you not have scouts that you trust? Why are you drafting a guy that you need to put this on in 2025? If not, if you had concerns in the year of our Lord 2025 about an NFL player coming into the league and you locking in a bunch of guaranteed money if and when he gets arrested, hypothetically, don't draft that guy. There's other guys that will maybe be a safer bet. I don't think Shemar Stewart has even had a track record, to my knowledge, with any outside of football issues.
No, he has not.
So then why in the hell are you deciding that you need to go on this crusade against him? If he's checked all the boxes already, then he's checked all the boxes. And you're just trying to get another leg over. And unfortunately, people don't like it when the owners are trying to get a leg over on them. They don't like it. The players don't like it. The fans don't like it. You look like a jerk. It's a bad situation, and you try to put it and spin it in the name of business because you maybe had a couple guys that you got burned on. Too bad. You get burned. It's part of the game. It's what happens.
I don't even think that they have.
No, I think Cincinnati's been relatively quiet with a lot of stuff. They drafted Joe Mixon.
Yeah, well, and he was a second-round pick. I don't know what his... So it's very specific to first-round contracts. And again, the Joe Mixon one's a really good example. There's footage of him punching a woman in the head, a girl in the head. Shemar Stewart hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what really bothers me about this. And I can understand that there's no clear statement of we're worried that Shemar is going to get into trouble. That's not what they've said. But the framing of it and the decision to add it to his contract specifically offers that thought that is how you perceive him. That you perceive that he is a directionless, childish,
immature. There's no
immature kid.
It's the only way to
get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right, which I would feel extremely disenfranchised by that. Their last first-round picks have been Marius Mims, who hasn't had any run-ins, Miles Murphy, no run-ins, Daxton Hill, no run-ins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Jonah Williams. The only thing that's criminal about some of these picks, Billy Price, John Ross, Will Jackson III, Cedric Ogabui. The only thing criminal about some of these picks is that they're just shit picks, okay. Duke. I believe you were the one who made a lot of these picks. Most of these are awful shit picks. Awful.
Yeah, so if you want to go on a run of drafting stand-up gentlemen that play in the league or get bounced out of the league for 3 years for, as Joe called, shit picks, then that's what you want to do, and that's what you've been doing. Don't just start throwing stuff on top right now. They're kitchen sinking a whole bunch of language just to try to get over or to try to get out before they're even in. It's nasty, nasty work. That's old school football stuff. That's why there's stuff like this is why there's a players union.
Yeah.
Because there were too many guys that went into the NFL.
The players union ain't exactly doing a whole lot right now.
I am not, trust me, this is not defensive of what they got going either. But they felt the need, however disjointed or jointed they have been since, they felt the need that to come together and say, we need to unionize because we've been getting whored every single year. Guys come in the league, do everything right, blow their knee out, and they're like, all right, I got to sell cars. I have to work at Rent-A-Center to pay my bills because the dream is over, because there was no guaranteed money, and I'm out of the league. Thousands of stories. I'll roll back. Yeah, thousands of stories, thousands of dudes come and gone in the league with nothing but a handshake and a couple pictures in the uniform. And you're trying to walk that back, get back to that era. Too bad, old man. Too bad. Old football, as we romanticize it, love it, yearn for it at times with the hard hitting and the egregious amount of penalties and softness in the league. It was worse for the players. Now it's better for the players, and all the guys that still think it's 1985 are trying to keep it that way. Go screw.